Good afternoon, everybody. This is Catrice with the PowerLink, and we are excited to see you guys again this week. We are giving you guys information about the PowerLink Expo coming up on May the 18th and 19th of this year. And we are excited because we have some really powerful speakers that's going to be there. The reason why we're giving you a tidbits is because we want you to know what's going to be expected at the event so that you can choose some of the workshops and some of the conferences and some of the seminars that you may be interested in being a part of. Today, I'm excited because we have Abraham Scully and Ashley Leopard that's going to be a part of this conversation today. I'm so excited about you guys being here. Thank you so much for coming in and having this discussion with me. We want to be able to give everyone an opportunity to hear some of the tidbits of what you're going to be talking about at the event. Ashley and Abraham. I got 2 A's today. Yes, that means I'm doing good. All right. If anyone is out there listening, please do me a favor. Drop in the chat right now. Get linked up. Again, drop in the chat, get linked up. And the reason why is because I want to see who's out there. If you have any questions, concerns, you can send us a post, and we'll be more than happy to answer the questions about the workshops and the information we're going to be giving out at the event. But today we're going to talk to Ashley and Abraham about their workshops, and I am super excited about it. Okay, so we're going to start with you, Ashley. Ladies first. Yay.
Thank you.
We're going to talk to you a little bit about the workshop that you're going to be hosting. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you interested in the business that you're in right now.
First of all, thank you for having me tonight. I'm just so excited to be a part of this amazing event. I'm really excited to share what I have and learned throughout my life. So what brought me to this point is I proudly served in the United States Coast Guard as a rescue helicopter flight crew member for about 14 years. During that time, both professionally and personally, I went through a lot of very big life events, both positive. I learned quite a bit from all that, and I separated medically from the military, and my service to the community doesn't stop there, right? I have a passion to want to help people and share some life lessons that I learned. So I'm really excited to have a workshop that encompasses what it takes to be fully healed from different things from your past and be able to be the best person that you can be. So the title of the workshop is Building Resiliency Through a Positive Life Perspective. And sometimes people ask me, well, what does that have to do with business? And I tell them everything. If you are not 100% and if you have not been able to overcome things in your life, they're just going to continue to drag you down. And that, affects your business in every aspect. So I'm just really excited to share with people what I've learned, and we're going to apply some different things as far as building your resiliency.
Oh, that's awesome. So when you say resiliency, what do you mean as far as that's concerned? Like, is it resilience against people? Is it resilience against what's going on in your life? What aspect, or is it all of the above? Or can you give us some key points on that?
Sure. So we're really going to define what resiliency is and how the power of the mind works. So basically encompasses any type of traumas that someone has been through, because really personal wellness should be the number one goal, to be able to be the best spouse, the best friend, the best. So really what we're going to look at is norms of life, because what we need to gather as a community and understand is that the storms of life, they never stop, right? Either you just got through a storm, you're in the middle of a storm, or there's probably one on the horizon. So it's really important to build your resilience through faith, through personal wellness, and really just being able to incorporate that in every avenue of your life.
Okay, that sounds wonderful. That's a lot of information that's power packed. So at this event, whenever we you come to speak on what, I forget what day it is. I'm such a bad person right now.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
Okay, so let me just say this. I'm super excited about you being at this event. I'm going to tell you that I've been working on the book list. I do most of the marketing for everything that you see going on with the PowerLink. And I was looking at the workshops and all of the workshops and all of the conferences that we have available that's going to be at the event. And then I started looking at some of the streamlining that we're going to have for the seminars and then the speed networking. And I was like, so last year it was really, really good. It was powerful last year. But this year we're going to blow the roof off the top with some of the speakers, including yourselves. And so I'm super excited because I know that the information that you guys are going to be giving is going to be something that's really, really necessary for a small business for sure. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say as far as this is concerned when it comes to the workshops and the seminars and all the little things that we have going on at the event. If you guys if you are out there and you're interested in being a part of the PowerLink Expo, most of the stuff is free, but you have to register. All you have to do is go to the PowerLinkExpo.com /attend and hit register from there. It is simple, it's easy. You don't have to spend any money. If you just want to come for the exhibits and the workshops, it'll be well worth it for that. That's absolutely free. If you're interested in the conferences and you want to be a part of the speed networking, it's a minimal fee, but it's literally available for you to be a part of this event. It's going to be a great opportunity for you to grow your business. Again, we have Ashley with us, and she's talking about how you got to build up your resiliency, and she's explaining how there are certain things sometimes we go through our lives and we don't really necessarily know. So for example, I'm going to give you a little bit of my story. I have been through some traumatic stuff, and I'll tell you that one of the things I went through myself was a tornado back in 2016, and it took literally 5 years for me to pull my life together and be able to fight back to all the things that happened. Not just having to rebuild everything, but being afraid of storms, period. I can actually go out into the weather and drive now because whenever there was a storm before, there was no way I was going to drive. I would sit in the house and just cry. So to have that resilience to kick back in, it doesn't matter what it could be. So it could be that someone's coming against you. Is that correct, Ashley? Or it could be, go ahead.
Yeah, no, first of all, I think that's amazing that you're able to open up and talk about that. I think that's truly the first step in being able to combat some of our internal struggles, if you will, is just like voicing it out into the world to actually process. So I cover topics like that, going through a traumatic event as far as a hurricane or tornado. Sometimes people look at me and they're like, you're only 36. What have you been through? Well, just about almost every traumatic event I've been able to overcome. And it's kind of a beautiful thing to look back and that everything that was trying to stop me, that was trying to, crush my dreams, crush my goals, I was able to persevere through. And I want to give that to other people because sometimes we have something that happens in life and ourselves and isolate ourselves, and that's exactly the negative side of trauma, and what you went through caused a form of PTSD. And so my workshop is going to expose what causes PTSD, how we can unpack that, and how we can really learn not only to help ourselves but to help others. So I think that's huge as far as just having a community aspect. The rising tide lifts all ships. So if we can help each other and share our wealth of knowledge, we're going to set the roof on fire, girl.
Absolutely. So tell me, how does that help business owners? Like, as a business owner, I am just finally getting into a really good place, and I'm excited about where I'm at right now. But how does dealing with your resiliency and overcoming some of the things, the struggles, how does that help as far as business is concerned? Are you there?
Well, we're not 100%. If you have not dealt with some traumatic things, it seeps into every aspect of our lives, particularly business. So the main thing that I like to incorporate when I talk about business is we're not a product of our circumstances, we're a product of our choices, right? So we have a choice when it comes to business. Do we let our personal traumatic, events that have happened throughout our life affect our business, or do we handle it not only to better who we are, but to better the business, the people that you work with, and the outcomes for you to be able to, for people to see, wow, she overcame everything that was supposed to bring her down. I want to learn that. I want to be like that. And I want to be a part of a business like that.
Awesome. We're going to talk about your book in just a minute, but I'm going to switch over to Abraham. Abraham, how you doing?
Hello, I am well and excited to be here. I'm
So
getting fired up
Abraham,
about Ashley's presentation. I might have to skip mine.
no, you're at
Jump in
different
her
times,
session.
so you'll be at separate times, so you can definitely see
Awesome.
hers, I'm sure.
Awesome.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, Abraham, and what it is that you do.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Catrice, for the opportunity to share with the PowerLink community. Um, so I am Abraham Scully. I'm the CEO and founder of Speaks to Inspire, the mental health solution for young adults suffering in silence. And so my experience kind of getting into this work has been a result of me going through mental health challenges, specifically depression. I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder in 2015. Went through the period of trying to find treatment, trying to recover from that. And I found out a lot of things about myself, a lot of things about other people, and I learned what mental health was. And so, what I'll be bringing to the PowerLink Expo this year is the conversation about how can we navigate mental health in the workplace so that we prevent burnout, because burnout is real, mental health is real. We all have mental health. And so it's about having these honest conversations so that we can navigate mental health and make sure we reach that state of well-being.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me ask you a question. We know that mental health is real. A lot of people don't want to admit it, but it is very real. I have relatives that I think need some help for sure.
Mhm.
But aside from that, when you're talking about mental health in the workplace, how are you able to get that information out there so that it's number one, your coworkers or your employer or even the employees are not looking at you kind of like willy nilly, so to speak, because you have to deal with certain issues like this.
That's a great question. And the first thing that we must do is we have to start from the top down.
Okay.
So, in leadership, who are the ones who are in charge of making change, creating impact, and who has the influence from the top down? And if they can prioritize mental health and well-being in the workplace, then it's easier for a coworker or someone else, in that organization or company to say, I'm not doing well, and this is what I need to do in order to get to the place where I can produce, which is what we need in business. We need production, right? An increase in sales, an increase in our impact and our influence as a business. And so I believe, and statistics show that our mental health is directly correlated with our ability to produce in the marketplace. And so
Oh wow.
understanding that, mental health is not just this concept that comes out when someone experiences a crisis, right? We've recently seen some celebrity suicides, unfortunate suicides that have happened in the news, but that's not the only time we should talk about mental health, right? We should talk about mental health when we're having good days. We should talk about mental health when we're having not so good days. Mental health should be a normalized topic or conversation. And oftentimes, because it's not valued or prioritized from the top down, we cover those conversations and kind of stick them under the rug. And so my goal is to show the importance of mental health, how it correlates to success in the marketplace, so that we can prioritize it and then have these honest conversations in our day-to-day interactions.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And
Woo, that's
I'm gonna
good.
tell you, that's let me say this. Like, so I'm gonna not talk to you guys. I'm gonna talk to the audience. So give me a second. We as business owners, we have a lot that we have to deal with. If you are a business owner and you are a sole proprietor or you're an LLC, or if you are trying to get your information together for you to be a business owner, and you're struggling in certain areas, it doesn't mean it. Especially if he talks about mental health. Abraham talks about mental health, right? It doesn't mean that you're actually mentally sick or anything like that. It could be that you just need to make sure that your mentality is healthy, period. In other words, like the stresses that we go through, that's part of mental health. the different things that we have to deal with in life, that's part of mental health. This is going to be one of the workshops where you want to be a part of it so that you can learn how to handle certain things, especially if you are a business owner. This event is designed specifically around helping the well care of small business. It's not just about trying to make money or figure out the marketing. Yes, we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff at the event, but we're also going to talk about things that are practical that's going to help you as a business owner so that you're able to sustain in the process of all the things that we're going through. For example, we had the pandemic. Never before in our lifetime, I don't know about you guys, but I've never had a pandemic in my lifetime ever. This is my first one. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but I have to deal with it. And so that's part of the mental health stresses that we have to go through. Is that correct, Abraham?
Absolutely. And there's actually what I call the 4 pillars of mental health, which I'll go over in my breakout session as well. And so the first pillar starts with recognizing your gifts and abilities. What are you good at, and how do you turn those gifts and abilities and capitalize on those, right? So what are your gifts and abilities? The second step or pillar of mental health is, what is your capacity to cope? Do you know how to cope in effective, positive ways when we deal with stress on a day-to-day basis as a business owner? The third pillar is our productivity, right? And ensuring that our work is purposeful, it's meaningful to us as individuals and to those who we serve. And then that last pillar is our contribution. So how are we contributing to our communities? How are we contributing to our staff? How are we contributing to the clients that we serve? And making sure that we understand that mental health is, again, not just about crisis. It's not just about mental illness, but it's so much more than that. And it's important that we cover these aspects so we have a deeper understanding so we can really maximize on our full potential.
That is phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. Let me ask you a question. Let's say that you're working with someone that is a customer, not necessarily a worker within the business, but someone that's your client. And how do you deal with the stresses and the mental health aspect as far as that's concerned? Because it's different whenever you're working in the workforce, but then when you're a sole proprietor or you're a one man show, so to speak, you have to deal with all aspects of it. How does that help in that aspect?
Yeah, great question. I'll share two things that I think is very valuable. Number one, being able to come back to the breath.
Ooh.
Oftentimes, we're so busy doing so many things, wearing so many different hats, playing so many different roles, that sometimes we forget to be, right? And we forget that we're human beings, not human doings. And so the simplest thing that I can share with anyone listening is, whenever you find yourself in an anxious state, or this state where you're probably feeling like you're approaching burnout, or you're kind of just racing, come back to the breath. The other thing is establishing healthy boundaries, right? And that goes with clients as well. Sometimes we have clients that want more than what they're paying for, right? And because we want to over deliver, we want to bring value to the marketplace, we oftentimes don't set those healthy boundaries to say, this is what I'm doing for you, and there's nothing outside of that. So I'm not going to stretch myself thin. Again, like you said, Catrice, sometimes it's a one-man band. Sometimes we don't have a team or are able to outsource work. And so when we have these boundaries in place, we can say, this is what I'm doing. This is our contract in terms, and I'm not doing anything outside of this, but I am going to give you excellent, work in our professional relationship. And setting those boundaries really helps to make sure that we're doing well mentally. We're not taking work home, even though that's hard as a business owner. And as much as we can, we're making sure that we're compartmentalizing, our life. We have a life, we have a business, we have relationships, and all of these different things play a role in our mental health.
Absolutely. Listen, if you are watching this particular episode of the PowerLink Expo, let me just tell you that we're going to be having this particular expo is going to take place on May the 18th and 19th. It's going to be in Fort Walton Beach at the Christian Life Center. It's going to be one of the most powerful events that's available for you to grow your business. We start sharp at 8 o'clock in the morning. We start off with a really awesome conference that on Wednesday, where we're going to be talking to women about women in business. We have a phenomenal group that's going to be a part of that. We also have the workshops that are going to be taking place where Abraham, Ashley, and a bunch of other speakers are going to be there. It's going to give you powerful information. And then on top of that, we have a lunch and learn, where you're going to be able to learn about technology and learn about how to deal with how to use your connections as far as networking and mentorship to grow your business. There's going to be a lot of information that's going to be given to you at this event so that you can grow. I'm going to tell you that if you have any questions right now, if you want to ask Ashley or Abraham a question, this is a great time to ask them questions. Just drop it in the chat real quick. Let them hear what you have to say, or ask the question that you would like to know concerning their workshops, and see how they can help you right now as far as that is concerned. Actually, let's talk about your book a little bit, because I've been looking at this book and I've been saying number one, it has the hurricane on it. The hurricane within, and it's like, man, does that mean that I'm like blowing all over the place inside of me? Tell me what that means, and how do I fix the hurricane within, or do you even fix it? It's supposed to be there. Tell me about this wonderful book you have.
Sure. Thank you for asking. So the Hurricane Within is a little bit of a play on words, of course. I was in the Coast Guard, as I mentioned earlier, and I was one of the first helicopter crews out during the devastating Hurricane Harvey in 2017 in Houston. So when I was out there, obviously witnessed a lot of trauma, as you understand, Catrice, from your own tornado experience. Being a part of a natural disaster like that has its own set of traumatic responses in the body. So I talk a lot about my rescues, and also I talk about the internal hurricane I had from some traumatic events that had happened throughout my life that I just never unpacked, I never dealt with, and all that stuff came back to haunt me. And so I talk about that. It's a really raw story. I open up about the good, the bad, the ugly, and just hoping to inspire people and let people know that they can too get through their own storms of life. And a goal of my workshop really too is to kind of redefine what PTSD and depression looks like, because if you were to have asked people that I had worked with, they would have never ever in a million years guessed that I was going through some of those struggles. So really, I just want to share what it looks like to go through those things, and defining what the fears are, because I had the fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of all these things. So if we understand those fears, we're able to combat them with those positive self-talks and things like Abraham was saying, understanding the mental health capacity of how we fight that. So in my book, I talk about a lot of different things, but hopefully just everybody that reads it gets a little bit of inspiration that relates to them.
Will you have your books at the event?
Yeah, so I'll have my book there. I have a paperback and a hardcover. I also, for those that love the ebook and the audio version, I have those available on Amazon as well. So I'll be there to offer up an autographed copy and pictures with anybody who's willing to support. So thank you so much for asking.
Awesome. Tell me, Abraham, tell me a little bit about your business itself. Like, where do you go to speak sometimes?
Yeah, so we work with, so again, the company is called Speaks to Inspire. We work with higher ed institutions. So we visit a lot of colleges, universities, and help them to increase student engagement and retention through developing mental health programs and creating safe spaces for honest conversations about mental health. We work with corporations as well, but majority of what we do is for higher education institutions.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to go over this again. The event is on May the 18th and 19th. We are excited to have phenomenal speakers. This is going to be one of the best expos. I keep saying weird things, but it's cool. Best expos that we're going to have on the Gulf Coast. We have at least right now about 40 people that's coming in to be speakers. And that's a combination of workshops, a combination of conferences, a combination of seminars. And then on top of that, we are going to have a blast because we we have exhibits that are going to be there. If you would like to be an exhibitor, we still have some spaces available. You can go to the PowerLinkExpo.com and sign up, and we'll get you into the spot. The cool thing about being an exhibitor at this particular event is only 3 of the same type of businesses are allowed to be there. So if we have, let's say, 3 different graphic designers, there are no more graphic designers that can be a part of the event. If there are 3 people that do marketing, only those 3 companies will be there. So if you have a particular business that you'd like to showcase, we're going to tighten the opportunity for you to get the clientele that you're looking for, because we're only allowing a number of 3 people, 3 different companies that are the same type of company to be a part of the event. Another thing is that if you would like to strengthen your connections, the speed networking is going to be one of the most powerful things you can do. It's like being on a speed dating opportunity, except you're networking and you're collecting business cards and you're talking to people and you're sharing your information so that you can find out who's going to be your favorite person whenever you leave the event, and you'll be able to make those connections at that particular time. And then on top of that, we also have we're going to have commercials there. And people say, how do you have commercials, Catrice? How do you have commercials? Well, I'll tell you how we have commercials. We're going to be able to have it where people have 30-second I know what I'm trying to say. Give me 1 second. 30-second opportunities of having their commercials filmed right there on the premises, or you can actually have your commercial pre-done, and we'll have them air during the event itself. It's going to be super awesome, because then people get to see you for who you are and see your businesses, and it'll be aired every single day on both days, a number of times, so that people will see your information. So this is a great opportunity. It's only $100 to get your commercial out there, and it not only will it be aired at the event, it will also be aired on our social media, and it will be aired on our website, and it'll be aired probably like I said, it will be aired at the event. So you have 3 different opportunities of getting your information out there if you're interested in having a commercial. Let's see. I keep going back and forth. Guys, if you're listening or watching this particular event, please, if you have any questions for Abraham or Ashley, drop your questions in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. When this event, us talking is over and you still have questions, go ahead and drop them in the chat anyway, and we'll be able to get that information to Ashley and Abraham. And when you come to the event, they're going to remember that you asked that question and answer those questions then, because that will be the opportunity for you to hear everything that they have to say. So go ahead and register today for the event. Do you guys have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask each other? Because I can talk a lot, and sometimes I talk too much. So let's see. Do you guys have any? Abraham, do you have any questions for Ashley about what she's going to be talking about?
Yes. So I would love to know, how can coworkers or employees foster a community where resilience is in the conversation, and we're helping each other to develop resilience, and we're having these open conversations about resilience, and it's like we're keeping each other accountable towards the goal of being resilient and being able to really bounce back from adversity. What are some tips that you would kind of recommend to foster an environment where these are the characteristics and conversations that's being had?
Awesome question. I like that. Okay. So I can tell you from my personal experience, and also I'm doing courses right now to complete my bachelor's in crisis counseling. So I've been learning a lot from that, which is amazing. But first and foremost, studies show that when somebody has a traumatic event, if they talk about it, if they verbalize that with somebody within the first 30 days of the traumatic event happening, they can really heal somebody just through conversation. And I know that might seem like an easy thing, but we get so used to internalizing the trauma instead of actually voicing it. So to answer your question, I think the first and foremost, the most effective thing that I realized through my military experience, particularly, is just being that one to say, hey, I'm having nightmares from these hurricane rescues, or are you going through that too? And it blew my mind the second that I opened up that dialogue. Almost everybody was feeling the same thing, and I thought, oh my gosh, why are we not talking about this? And
Wow.
so I think just having training to remind people that mental health is something we all need to talk about, that we all go through problems, we all go through traumas, and just being able to find somebody that you can confidently open up and offload that conversation to really is like the first pivotal step in healing. So that was one thing that I really took from my military career, is especially with sort of that military go get 'em, never fail attitude, is that you sometimes had to take a pause and say, okay, wait, we just went through some traumatic stuff. Like, let's decompress, let's talk about this. And just kind of remove that element of fear of rejection or fear of judgment from our peers.
That's
I have a
awesome.
question.
I
Being a
can't wait to
woman,
jump in your session.
Same to you, same to you.
that is so cool. I have a question for you. Being a woman in the military, was it harder for you to find the people that you can trust to have that accountability? And what did you do to overcome that?
I'll be honest with you. I had a lot of great coworkers and a lot of friends at work that we really cared for one another and hung out and had great relationships. But I had that self-induced fear of judgment just for being a woman, because I was under the impression like, oh, I'm having nightmares or I'm dealing with this, and it's probably just because I'm a sensitive woman and I don't want people to think that. And again, as I mentioned, the second I opened up that conversation, all these big, burly, strong men were like, yeah, I'm having issues too. And it like blew my mind. So yes, I've kind of encountered a few things, just mostly internalizing my own fears for being a woman. But realistically, I mean, everybody that I spoke to were kind of dealing with the same thing. So it's just a matter of bringing it to light and, hey, let's talk about it. Why aren't we talking about it?
Absolutely, absolutely. How about you, Ashley? Do you have a question that you'd like to ask Abraham about his workshop that it's been burning on your brain since he started talking?
Well, honestly, I'm just so excited to hear more. You've piqued my interest with so much, and I think that I can learn a lot too from hearing from people like you who have been doing this and really have a lot to offer the community. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say, and I wanted to hear what your biggest pitfall or your biggest roadblock that you have in dealing with that high school, college age range right now, because I know there's a whole nother element with the social media and with all of that affects mental health. And what is the biggest roadblock that you've encountered with that age group or that particular community?
Yeah, so as we have noticed over the last few years, there have been a lot of conversations that have come out in the media about mental health. Would you agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're seeing them all across the spectrum, as it relates to crisis, like that would happen, whether it be suicide or, just mental health in general, in terms of get help for your mental health. There's telehealth, seek therapy, different things like that. However, one of the biggest barriers that still exists, especially in this community that we serve, college age, young adults in general, is the stigma associated with mental health and mental illness. And so because of the negative association that many have when it comes to having conversations about mental health, like you said, Ashley, no one is opening up about the thing that is obviously going on, right? And that's stigma, right? And so there are different types of stigma that exist, but a lot of what we see is that self stigma, is like how I see myself because of what I'm going through. And what we work to do is really combat that stigma and bring mental health education paired with the power of storytelling to help to eradicate the stigma. And we see it on a daily basis of how we can pair education and stories and get one student, one young adult from not opening up at all to, in a matter of 60 minutes, to say, hey, I think I need to go see a therapist, or I think this is what's going on, or I resonate with what that person shared. And because we see those things happening, it further informs our work and validates our work, because we truly believe that in order to eradicate stigma, we have to pair education with storytelling. Because if I'm speaking to you and you can't relate to me, you can't connect, you can't resonate with what I'm saying, then what I'm saying to you is going in one ear and out the other, right? And so it's very important that we incorporate those stories in the work that we do. So that's what we focus on, and that's what we're continuing to see as a challenge, is that stigma. But we're also seeing some breakthroughs for the young adults that we serve across the country.
That's really awesome. And honestly, I couldn't agree with you more. You hit the nail on the head when you just said that relatability. And part of the reason why I shared my story through my book is to help others. It's not about Ashley Leppert and the things that I've done, really. It's about the people that I want to read that and say, oh my gosh, she went through the same thing and she was able to get through it. Like, I want to draw from that. So that's a really great answer. And I couldn't agree with you more. You want to be able to help people on a relatable level, because if they can't understand what you've been through, it's kind of like, right, one ear and out the other, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. And I'm going to say that I really love the fact that you're talking to young people, because it is necessary so that they can be comfortable, but it's also necessary for the older ones as well. I know many people that are my age, and I will never tell my age, and if you ask me, I would have to kill you. But there are many people my age that are in business that are still dealing with the mental health things as well. And it's like it's a hush hush thing amongst all generations. Like, when I was growing up, you never talked about who was a little off, or who was mentally ill, or if you were having mental issues with certain things, or if your stress was causing you to get off balance. No one talked about that kind of stuff. It was always just press through it, you'll make it through it, or God will see you through, and not that God wouldn't see you through, because I believe in him, but the fact that we still needed to have counseling, or we needed to have that conversation, or we needed to have someone talk to us about what was going on, so that we could kind of pull it apart and put it back together the correct way. That was not something that really ever took place. And when it did, you were frowned upon or looked at as something odd or weird. And when you're a business owner, especially when you're a business owner, you're juggling so much. You have children, you have a husband or a spouse or a boyfriend or girlfriend, you have money problems that you might be dealing with, then you have the business on top. But that's just a home. We're not even talking about the business aspect of it, all the things that goes along with that. And so right now, like, hearing this is really powerful to me, because this is going to give some business owners an opportunity to say, okay, I it's okay to breathe. It's okay to say that I'm having some stress. It's okay to say that I might be dealing with some stuff. I may need counseling. People tell me that all the time, but I don't believe them. But it's okay. But it's, it can happen. You never know. You never know. So I'm just really excited about you guys being a part of this.
And you brought up a really good point, Catrice, and I just want to echo what you said about recognizing that we need the help as business owners. Because here's the thing, and this is what I try to do when I am speaking to business owners or entrepreneurs, or people who are just starting up, right? And those other things seem like they're more important, right? Here's the truth. You will be able to operate at a much higher level if you're doing well. And here's the other truth. Maybe the reason why you're stuck right now, you don't have clarity, your productivity is low, no one wants to join your team, right? You're having all of these setbacks and obstacles. Maybe, just maybe, it has something to do with you not prioritizing your mental health. And so what I'm very hopeful about for the workshop is I'm going to be giving practical tools. Like, everyone that attends the session, my session, is going to leave with some practical tools, things that you can do today, things that you can do right now to get just a little bit better. And if you're in a space where maybe you're thinking, well, I don't need help, maybe my coworker or colleague needs help, or maybe I don't need professional help. I just need, to learn some strategies that I can use for myself. I'm going to give you those too. If you need professional help, I'm going to guide you to those resources, right? And oftentimes another thing that comes up as a barrier for many small business owners is I can't afford counseling. I can't afford therapy. Well, I'll tell you this, yes, you can. And I'll show you how, right? And I'll just share this last testimony, my own experience, because that was a challenge that I was facing early on is, man, I understand that I know, I should be getting counseling. I should be in therapy, whether it's at least once a month or a couple times a month, but I can't necessarily afford that. And when I was telling myself that a few years ago, that was just the perception that I had about therapy. I never really looked. I never really tried to figure out what options were available. I later found out that I can get counseling for $1.
Wow.
I can get a 60-minute session for $1, right? And again, these are some of the things that, because we don't know, we don't take advantage of it, right? And so as you attend the presentation, I'm going to make sure that we all leave with some practical tools on how to help ourselves as business owners, and then how to also provide support for those who are on our team, on our staff, whatever that looks like, because we need to prioritize our mental health, because when we do, productivity shoots up, right? Our success shoots up because we're not being held back by a lot of what Ashley mentioned, right? Some of those internal barriers, some of those things that are really holding us back. Because again, mental health is about recognizing your gifts and abilities, your capacity to cope with stress, right? You doing purposeful work, and your contribution to your community, your society, and your clients. So when we can focus on that aspect and look at the positive side of it, which I believe is positive, then we can take ourselves and our business to the next level.
Will you be giving handouts at the event?
Yes, so we will have brochures. I didn't mention this to you, Catrice, but I'm also an author. I've written 3 books, and I have a book called Unlearn the Lies, a guide to reshaping the way we think about depression. So I will have that as a resource at the expo as well. And it is a story.
I get a signed copy though, right? I just get a signed copy. Right? Okay. I'm just making sure I get my signed copy. Everybody else has to pay, but I'm getting mine.
Of course, signed and a picture. But yeah, so that will be there as a resource, in addition to some local resources that you can have access to if you are in Pensacola, and also national resources, and also free resources, because a lot of people don't know that there are resources that you don't have to pay for and you can take advantage of. So we'll have resources that you can utilize as well.
That is phenomenal. Okay, so I want to say a couple of things. I want to say, first of all, thank you, Bantu Cola, who is one of our proud sponsors, who helps us with every event that we've had for the past 2 years. I'm so thankful for Bantu Cola for being a part of this event. They come in, they help us with the technology, and everything that you see going on right now is from Bantu Cola. So let's give a shout out to Bantu Cola. Whoop, whoop. Thank you so much for helping us. And then I would like to say, if you are interested in being a part of this event, I'm going to say this one last time, because I know that what I'm saying is the truth. If you are a business owner and you are trying to grow your business and you're trying to get things together and you're struggling, or even if you're not struggling, this event is something that you want to attend. It's going to help you in so many different ways. We have so many different really cool workshops. We have someone coming in teaching about how to market your business and how to actually get the most out of your social media without having to spend any money. That doesn't happen often, but there is a way that it can be done, okay? We have someone coming in that's going to talk to you guys about how, lately you've been walking and hearing, well, not walking, but hearing on the news, people just ended up going into a store or into a place of business and just shooting. We have someone that's coming in that's going to be teaching you what to look out for and how to communicate when you are in trouble before it happens. This is a big deal right now because it's been happening too often. So we're going to have someone coming in and teaching about that. We've got someone that's going to be coming in that is going to talk to you about insurance, and also talk to you about your body, your physical body. See, it's one thing to have a mental thing going on, but it's another thing to have a physical thing going on, and learning how to speak to your body as far as allowing your body to speak to you as far as what's going on, and knowing what to look for so that you can stay healthy as a business owner, because you only have one you. There's only one you. Your business will be there even when you're dead and gone. But you only have one you, and you have to take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself mentally. You have to take care of yourself spiritually. You have to take care of yourself psychologically. You have to take care of yourself physically. This is all important as far as a business, being a business owner is concerned. We have someone, I don't know if any of you have loved ones that you are watching out for, especially if they're your mom and your dad, and you're looking out for them, and then they're going to the hospital and they're, having to deal with doctor's appointments and everything. We have someone coming in that's going to teach you how to advocate for your loved ones if you're taking care of them, and you're being the person that has to watch out for them and making sure that they're being healthy, and that the doctors are not giving them the wrong blood or giving them the wrong pill or causing them to get sicker even more. You're going to learn how to be the advocate for your loved ones. And that's really important as a business owner, because you don't need that added stress on your life of having to worry about your parents and not knowing what's going to happen to them because they're given the wrong stuff that they may not need. So those are things we're going to have. We're going to have all kinds of workshops, but it's going to be designed to help you as a business owner, not just grow as a business, but also grow as a person. Because if you do well, your business does well. As you heard Abraham say, if you are together mentally, if you're together physically, if you're together financially, we have someone talking about finances. We have a lot of different workshops. But if you're together, your business does well. And this is going to help you get everything together so that your business does well. And that's what we're looking for. So if you're interested in growing your business and allowing your business to do well, get linked up with the PowerLink. This is your opportunity. Go to the PowerLinkExpo.com and register today. It's a great opportunity for you to grow your business. It's a great opportunity for you to meet people and connect with other people. I'm sure now that Ashley and Abraham have met each other, that's a great connection right there. Who knows what can happen between the two of them? But it would not have happened without the PowerLink. So this is a chance for you to grow your business. If you want to grow, if you want to be successful, come to this event. It's going to help you. But thank you, Bantu Cola, yay. Thank you, Ashley, yay. Thank you, Abraham. You guys were awesome. I can't wait to get everything down on paper and film so that we can actually hear more of it, because I'm going to tell you that if you can't make it, if something is going on and you can't come, the world is ending, for pretty much. You should be able to come to this. But if the world is ending, we're going to videotape it for you, okay? So just be there. One way or another, you're going to get this information. So we look forward to having you guys. But thank you so much for being a part of this discussion tonight. We're going to wrap it up. We're looking forward to having the next speaker come on next week. We're going to have a couple of really awesome speakers coming on and talking to us. We're going to have Dr. Betsy Smith, and we're going to have Jenny Gracia, who's going to be talking to us about how we deal with the self-talk in our heads. That's a whole other aspect. Let me just give you a little bit about Jenny. She's going to tell you her story, and then after that, we're going to wrap up. Jenny was very sick. As a young person, she was sick and about to die. And she literally spoke to her mind and willed herself to be a millionaire. This girl is a millionaire, and she's going to be coming to the event and talking to you about how to get your self-talk together so that your business can grow. That's an important thing. I tell you, it changed my life this year, because I honestly had some negative things going on a couple of years ago. But when I changed my self-talk, business started happening. So it's important that you do that. Let's see. I would like to say one other thing. Thank you to all the sponsors that are going to be a part of this event. We have the Pensacola Heritage, they're a sponsor. We have the Pelican Benefits Group, they're a sponsor. We have Connect the Gulf Coast, they are a sponsor. And we also have Conexion, which is the largest Spanish population. They do newspaper and media, the Conexion Media Group. And then we have one more. Let me think really hard who they are. I can't remember. I'll tell you the next time, but we have some great spots. Oh, Real Talk Radio, thank you for being a sponsor for this particular event. We are looking forward to working with you guys in the future, but thank you so much. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Thank you guys for being a part of this. I hope that you got some good information from the talk that we had. For all the listeners and the people that were watching, if you have questions, just drop them in the link. We look forward to hearing from you later on, and we'll get that information out to you. But come to the expo because there's a lot to be expected. Thank you. Have a good night. Am I on?